here in Albany as the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase begins just a touch early. Michael Lear and Zach Nelson carrying you through it. We'll run you through the student athletes real quick as it'll be about a 10-minute event.
We're only about 25 seconds in for the record. You know, we're cutting back in. You guys don't know what lap we're on. This is the first lap. There's 200 meters in.
Very essential. First lap as we get the first jump of the second part of it, I guess. And here's the student athletes competing. Phoebe Koski, the 5 seed, is a junior from Vermont. She started in lane 1. Kelly Ioka, a sophomore from Albany, in the second lane. Madeline Quigley, a junior from New Hampshire. Then Colleen Maloney, senior from Albany, is the 3 seed and a returning champion. Jane Lighton, a freshman from Vermont. Olivia Sheffield, a freshman from UMass Lowell. Hannah Mellino, the Binghamton sophomore. Then the Albany junior, Holly Maccabee. Aziza Chigatayeva, who's top 25 in the country in this event, likely going to come out on top. She is the favorite, the freshman from Binghamton. Kaylee Stone, the sophomore from Binghamton as well. Then Michaela Connery, a junior from New Hampshire. Margot Henley, the freshman from UMBC. And Alexis Bartleone, a senior from UMBC as well. 13 competitors looking for the top spot here. Top 3 will be all conference. Top 8 will score. It's the first final event we've gotten to call live.
That's a good point. I'm fired up.
Again, Maloney is the champion. 10:39 was her time last year, but Chigatayeva has a 30-second edge on her in seed time and is looking to top her this afternoon. The record is not in danger by seed time, as the record was set in 2016 by Laura Rose Donegan of UNH at 9:49.16.
That's quick.
It's not slow.
Just in case, I mean, I know that's my job to tell you. That's
yeah,
quick.
That is your job to tell us those kinds of things. It's pretty quick.
For example, 9:49 would be number 1 in the East right now.
She would certainly qualify.
She would be the best in the East half of the country. That's 9:49. So that's going to be, that championship record is going to be pretty tough to beat. That being said, Chigatayeva is a freshman.
She's got 4 years to get it going, maybe 5. First water jump of this lap. It's 5 laps to go. The second water jump of the event so far.
It's got to be tough to be a returning champion and have a freshman come onto the scene and be so strong in the event. Again, nothing that I can speak to, but I wonder how that's got to feel mentally.
Maloney's a senior and posted 10:32 this year. She's 3rd, but she's 20 seconds back. And
right,
you know, last year you run 10:39, you get the medal, and you're all conference. This year in jeopardy of even that mark. And just to give you a little bit of info on Chigatayeva in her first Marquise Championship meet, she's from Brooklyn, New York. She runs the 1,500, the 3,000-meter steeplechase, and the 5,000. She ran 17:40 at the indoors, got 10th in the 5K. And the coaching staff at Binghamton thinks that she already has a time that will certainly qualify her for regionals, and I'd say top 25 in the country certainly will. And they are looking forward to her putting up a good time this weekend just to continue that peaking. Zach talked about earlier about peaking at the right time, and you don't want today to be your peak if you're a national contender, but you want today to be another step towards that peak in about a week or a month's time.
Right. And you notice here that this field is really strung out as Kelly Ioka is out front. You know, she's got a 10:33 seed time. I think this may be a situation where she's trying to get after it and hit a standard, because right now, as we talked about, Chigatayeva is currently 32nd in the East with a 10:26. 48 go. They don't all declare, so somewhere around the top 50 can make it. Ioka's currently 51st. So she's not feeling comfortable that a 10:33 is going to get her through to regionals. But if you get under 10:30, now you're in the 43, 44 range, and you're probably safe. So she's one of those athletes that's trying to get a PR today and try and make it to regionals. She's certainly getting after it early. I mean, you see a pretty large gap between her and Chigatayeva, and the rest of the field is well strung out, too, because of that fast early pace.
Ioka's a sophomore, ran that 10:33 at the Virginia Challenge. on April 19th. Another one working towards that peak at the right time. 2 weeks ago, she PR'd in the 1500. But again, twice as far with 35 more obstacles in the way here. Ioka, a sophomore from Oakdale, New York. As you see, a jump and a near stumble from Holly Maccabee of Albany. It's the race we talked about earlier on today about just how different it can be every time you run it. One little change throws you off mentally, it throws you off physically, and the two we expected are towards the top. Chigatayeva
starting to reel her in a little bit, as they're on sub 10:20 pace through the mile, doing some quick math. So they're absolutely getting after it, and that's why you see just the two of them out front there with no one else very close by.
It's going to be the two of them towards the home stretch. Mentioned Phoebe Koski at Vermont. She's a junior from Duluth, Minnesota, the back-to-back NCAA hockey champion, Minnesota Duluth. And
I
Matt
correctly called that
Belfield,
one, by the way.
you did?
I did.
Preseason?
No, not preseason.
Okay.
Deeper than that, but the NCAA tournament.
That's fair. It's a good call. It's an easy call for the returning champ to win it all.
Well, St. Cloud State should at some point win an NCAA championship,
One of
playoff
these years.
game.
There you
They'll
go.
get one win, but it's fine. Two
Matt-
are neck and neck here.
Two of them fighting for that top spot, and this is an interesting dynamic too, because we talk about Chigatayeva and where she wants to be for the NCAA regionals.
Yep.
Winning an America East championship isn't the most important thing to her today, but
Right.
as we've said a handful of times, the competitive nature comes out at some
Right.
point. At some point, you want to beat the athlete next to you.
It's also interesting. Check out the two different types of form they have. That one was a little bit different. Chigatayeva has been kind of keeping her trail leg kind of beneath her and kind of kicking both legs to the same side, as Ioka has done more of like a typical hurdle form. That one you saw Chigatayeva kind of hurdle it. I'd be interested to see if she switched styles here as we get later in the race. There you see the two legs kind of go the same way, while Ioka has the trail leg off on the other side. Chigatayeva pulling away now, but it's always interesting as you see, like, these are not hurdlers, so they're not going to have perfect hurdle form. So how do they choose to do it? Some athletes will step on the barrier and quickly step down. Some will outright hurdle. Some will kind of keep that leg beneath them. It's just kind of whatever makes you feel comfortable, because really these are just, they're just barriers in the way of you basically running 2 miles.
So it's not necessarily about which way you're coached to do it. It's more how you're the most comfortable doing it, what makes you the least tired, what makes you land the most comfortably?
Right. I can only speak from, my own experience. I was a high school steepler, and, I coached kids in the steeple, and we were getting ready for a meet this weekend. It was pretty much like, all right, go try and run and hurdle a barrier and see what it looks like. Okay, let's try stepping on it, how you feel, and like what's going to exert the most energy for you, and how can we basically maximize your performance based on how you want to attack this. When it comes to the water barrier, everyone's stepping on and trying to push out and up and off so that they're not really landing in the water. But when it comes to these lower barriers, it's really what's going to help you the most as the race goes on. I had a kid last night that was stepping on him all night. Then with 2 laps to go, he felt he had enough energy. He started to hurdle him because he thought that was a little bit faster. And that's a learning process as you go through the years. And Chigatayeva, she's in college now, sure, but that's still, she's only a freshman. She probably hasn't done this event too many times in her career that she's still kind of mastering the event. But you see her pulling away here from Ioka pretty strong. Ioka, give her credit for trying to get after it and get a fast time. Chigatayeva is just another class.
A whole obstacle ahead. Ioka just trying to keep up there.
Yeah, Ioka still got a shot for a time that she was shooting for. So you hope that when an athlete is that aggressive, that it's able to pay off for him. Like, she's not going to be able to get the win today, but you hope that she can still PR and at least get, the silver lining to not quite able to capture a title.
Ioka's best time this year, 10:33.68. Again, just outside that top 48 as she tracks it down.
Doesn't look like she's quite going to be able to do it as she's got 200 meters to go at the 10-minute mark, unless she's got a real strong kick at the finish here.
Here comes that final stretch for someone we're going to watch for the next 4 years compete at the highest level, Aziza Chigatayeva. Talk about the athletes that have won this or won any event in Ameriques for 4 years in a row, and Chigatayeva very well could be one as she trots to the finish for an Ameriques championship, the first of likely many. Ioka to finish second. Clocks in at 10:41.73, so doesn't hit that PR. Rolling in at third is Stone. So Kaylee Stone, the 4 seed, finishes third.
Kaylee Stone with the big PR, 13 seconds knocked off her best time. Surprising finish for her.
Phoebe Koski, fourth. Maccabee, fifth. Maloney, fifth. Maccabee, sixth. Lighton, seventh. Sheffield, eighth. Connery, ninth. Hanley, 10th. As we wrap up a steeplechase that was dominated by Aziza Chigatayeva, and Phoebe Koski steps up, though, and gets outside of her seed, and something that, when you mentioned the Koski PR, the fact that she PRs by a good chunk, and this is what Matt Belfield said coming into today, she could PR by 10 seconds and not get third.
Right.
She PRs by, 12 seconds and gets third today, so a good finish for her, but just how deep this field is and how good Chigatayeva and Ioka are. Phoebe Koski certainly happy with the way she put out today.
Yeah, cut quite a chunk of, I think 7 seconds off of her PR there to get fourth. It's unfortunate because if you look at the seeds, that time would be better, but when Stone PRs by 12 seconds, it's hard to catch somebody when they're ahead of you and then have an even better race. I mean, that's what championship season's all